Hello, all, and welcome to another episode of the Market Pulse presented by Smart Touch. I am your host, Aaron Fichera, and today I have a very special guest with us, our very own Tanner Ross, the VP of Marketing Services here at Smart Touch, or as we like to refer to him as the Geo Dude. Tanner, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Aaron. Pleasure to finally be on an episode. It took us long enough to finally get me on to talk about awesome topics like IDFA and Geo. We're going to save SEM and paid search for another day and another podcast. But today, I will put on my Geo Dude hat and be that guy for this episode.
Excellent, excellent. For those that are listening, you may have bought the seat, but all you're going to need is the edge of the chair because we are talking about geofencing and IDFAs. If you have ever come across and you're at a model home or you're at a business and you look down at your phone scrolling mindlessly and then you look and you say, oh, I got an advertisement from a competitor. That's very fortuitous. That's fate. Well, there is no such thing as coincidence. That is all due to people like Tanner behind the scenes, making sure an ad is placed at the right time, at the right place, in the right hands. Hence, geographic or geofencing, which gets into our topic. But before we get into it, Tanner, please provide a little introduction to yourself. How'd you get involved in this business and your position?
Started out as an intern, bottom of the totem pole at Smart Touch Interactive 13 years ago. Worked with Robert and the team at the time, which was Robert and an account exec and me, the intern at the time. And then time goes on, skills get learned and developed. And now I am here where I am today. Been in the real estate industry from the start. Know the ins and outs of everything from SEM, SEO, paid social, organic social, anything digital marketing on the internet that you can see, especially IDFA and Geo. I will be the go-to guy to talk to.
Well, let's dive into it. Usually when we talk about IDFA and geofencing, that gets kind of more into our industry nomenclature. And a lot of people get deer in the headlight look when they hear, oh, you do IDFAs or geofencing. So before we kind of dive into strategies and implementations and pros and cons, let's first start off with concept. IDFA stands for Identifiers or IDs for Advertisers. Uh, Tanner, can you give us a little background of what the hell is an IDFA?
Yeah, to not get too nerdy and deep into it, an IDFA is essentially the driver's license for anyone's mobile device that they have on them. It's a unique ID exclusively for that device. It can't be changed. There aren't any two that are the same. It's a bunch of letters, numbers that identify the phone when they're talking to ad exchanges to say, "Hey, my device is ready to receive an ad." Now, you may or may not have heard Apple has done away with those. So Apple devices, if you're a fancy Apple user, you no longer have an ID on your phone. They've done it away. They've gated it from getting that information, allowing it to be shared with the advertisers. So instead, they have app IDs. So each individual app on your phone has its own unique identifier that is allowed to be shared with ad exchanges to show mobile ads on your phone. Android, however, still does have an IDFA. They call theirs an AAID or Advertiser Android ID. So there you go. Briefly, that is what IDFA is, very briefly.
So each one of us has a personalized ID or app IDs that we're all walking around with, knowing or unknowing to ourselves. And that's where we then have to go through ad exchanges. So what the hell is an ad exchange? Is this
Yeah,
like
so
Google or Meta or what goes on? Do I just throw an ad into the geo ether and it somehow magically appears on someone's phone?
Yeah, so the main one is the Google Ad Exchange. If you're running a Google Ads program and you're using a remarketing audience, or you're just picking another audience, such as, in market, I'm in the market for a new home or a house, or I'm in the market to buy and acquire some land. You can pick that audience in Google and they'll show it to users across all of their websites and apps that they have available on this network or their exchange to serve ads to. So an exchange like Google is basically just a broker working with websites and with apps to say, hey, this app or this website has space available for your ads. Do you want to purchase it or bid for it? And if you win, we will show your banner ad on that app or on that website.
But it also has to deal with geographical location when the ad's being served. So in theory, would geofencing someone that's at the Super Bowl be more expensive than, say, geofencing somebody at a neighborhood park or a mall?
Oh, it'd be very expensive. Super Bowl ads already are, multiple millions of dollars just to get 15 seconds of airtime to get that space. And you also have to take into account you're competing with everyone else. You're not going to be the only one sly enough to geofence the Super Bowl or to geofence these major events. You're going to be going up against everyone else who's also grabbing all of those IDs and bidding to show their ad in front of an ID who has visited that location. So you would need, again, multiple millions of dollars to even get a sniff of showing your ad to anyone who is currently at the Super Bowl in real time like that. It would be, blow your marketing budget for at least 10 years out just to have a chance to potentially show an ad to someone like that. Now, if you're local to Austin and you want to, get a little bit more focused and not go as heavy as the Super Bowl, you could target the UT football stadium. It's around 110,000 people. All of them are in the Austin market. Some of which may be in the market for a new home or new house, or to buy some land to build their dream house on. You could geofence that stadium for right around a budget number that would work for you. But Super Bowl, little costly, but if you want to try and you have the money for it, I'm not going to stop you.
And I know this was a tidbit from last year when we did some research, but what was the bare minimum you had to spend just to get into the Monaco Grand Prix?
No idea.
I think was it
It
like
was I think at least what was it, 200,000
yeah, it was
minimum?
something ridiculous once we
200,000
told
minimum to
them
get in
this.
there. Yeah.
So it's a lot to get that, but you can kind of be savvy, which kind of gets into a little bit of implementation strategies in our next segment, which is okay. If I'm a marketer working for a builder or developer, what are some strategies that Smart Touch employs, and what can I kind of feed off of here?
Yeah, so we have a couple strategies, for IDFA and for Geo. For Geo, we go after, typically one or two objectives. Like, are you trying to drive more brand awareness, get your ad shown in front of the right person to influence them, drive and influence their behavior to show up on site, to drive a conversion to your model home? Are you trying to drive traffic to your website? Or you don't care for traffic, you don't care for clicks to the website, and you again want that broader, just overall awareness of someone to realize, hey, this is who I am, this is where we're located, and to kind of influence their online searches, you can go there. That's three different objectives there. But the main one, if you're trying to drive, let's say, foot traffic, you're a home builder and your model traffic, for the past month has been pretty low. No one's really showing up or showing up on site. You want to help your sales team out to drive more on-site traffic, then you would want to, start hyper focused and go after your competitors. If you know your competitors in other developments or other areas are getting foot traffic, you can go ahead and kind of leech off of that marketing budget that they've already spent to get that traffic there and get in front of that buyer and say, hey, we notice you're currently interested in this community or this home in this model park. Why don't you come over to our model home where we offer this house with these advantages, with these features that they don't have? Throw that message in front of them and give them a reason to show up on site. And then also inside of there on your banner ad strategies, leverage the address of the model home as well. So even if they don't click it, and again, they're just looking at your banner, then you can go ahead and they'll see the banner, see the address, type it into their phone, and go through Google Maps or Waze or Apple Maps to show up on site that way. So that's one objective, to drive traffic. There are a couple of strategies there. Now, we've also had clients who have said, I want want a nice hybrid too. I don't want to drive traffic to the website, and I do want to drive traffic to the website, and I want to drive traffic on site. But what about, can I, instead of sending them to the website on an app click, could I send them to my Google Maps page? And we've done that as well. So if you're really trying to drive on-site traffic and you don't need the website traffic as much to get a form submission or a click to call, you can have on click, have all that traffic go to your Google business page, your Apple Maps page, your Bing Maps page, even to drive that traffic, to and help them show up on site.
And I know another strategy that we talked about before we hopped on, which I was kind of blown away about, is kind of this hyper focus IDFA pulls to almost inject almost like a performance enhancing drug for your Facebook ads, that you can create these hyper focused audiences based on these IDFA polls. And I don't know if you could kind of share a little bit of the strategy, or ultimately how do we create, these again hyper focused audiences that then I'm assuming the metric is more on conversion than just relevancy or awareness.
Yeah, so for like the hyper focus with an IDFA pool or a geo pool, they're still going to be focused. It's going to be the most focused you can get your campaign targeting down to. So when you run a geofencing campaign, typical systems are going to be able to get it within 15 feet of the coordinates, latitude, longitude, the model home address, the development address, whatever address you're using. It can get it within a 15-foot range. So it's going to be super hyper focused. You go into a Google account and you want to load up and show someone some ads within a 15-foot radius of a certain address, you're not going to get it. The most focus you can get on Google is by zip code. On Facebook, you can get within 10 mile radius of a certain location, but nowhere targeted within feet like you can with geofencing. So yeah, you can certainly get hyper focused with IDFA. It is that performance enhancing drug for your Facebook campaigns, because I just mentioned with the Facebook targeting, and the housing restrictions that we have, or the special ad categories that you're going up against, reducing what you can target, who you can target inside of there, instead of potentially spending, a lot of money with a kind of funnel audience system that we implement, where you're showing a video ad, you're showing a traffic ad, you're showing a lead gen ad. That's 3 different ad types. All 3 of those need a healthy budget to perform and build those audiences. You're kind of cutting the line and using that injection system of the IDFA list to show a lead gen ad right to the buyer who is already interested and has shown the interest to engage and submit a form, rather than someone who might not be as qualified or ready to engage, and you would show that person a video ad based off of that more general targeting that Facebook offers.
Oh, that makes sense. 'Cause it seems like with Google and having, I mean, a 3 to 5 radius, there's going to be a lot of spillage, or at least just ineffective targeting. So, you know, we have these kind of different programs. What do you feel are the key metrics that a marketer should focus on to gauge the success or failure of these programs?
Yeah, for a geofencing campaign, I mean, it really comes down to what you're trying to accomplish. Like you said, if your objective is I just want brand awareness, then you're really going to gauge and look at, okay, how many impressions were I able to serve to all the devices that have been within a certain, all my targets that I lined up, as well as what's the cost per thousand impressions through that system. So really weighing the cost analysis of, I got X amount of impressions for this amount of dollars. Was it worth it? Did I see a natural lift in my website traffic on analytics? Like, did I get more direct traffic coming to the website, which would be a good way to gauge that through that brand awareness campaign. If you're looking for traffic, then you're going to want to use, I would implement the IDFA list, because you can get super targeted. You can get them on social media when they're already, scrolling through their feed, and you can get that more targeted audience there to drive really quality traffic to the website. For geofencing and trying to drive traffic, you may get a little bit more looky-loo, again, depending on your targeting. If you're targeting, something very broad like grocery stores, or, a Costco or a shopping center, not everyone in the shopping center or at the grocery store is ready to engage and buy a home. So the traffic might not be as quality as, say, upping or changing your targets to be competitor model homes. So traffic you get from there will be a little bit more quality. However, like I've already spoken about, if you're targeting those model homes already and you're trying to get in front of that buyer who's already out shopping and in the market and has probably already done some research, and you want to get in front of that user, then you want to try to drive on-site traffic with a geofencing campaign. The IDFA list isn't really going to get you on-site traffic as immediate as a geofencing campaign would.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get on-site traffic with IDFA, you certainly can. It's just going to take a little bit more time to actually see the results of that form submission or the click-to-call that was generated off of that list to then show up on site.
That makes sense. So, from what I'm hearing, it's I mean, well, just in real estate in general, location, location, and location. So geofencing and IDFA polls is heavily based on the quality of the location and traffic in which you deem. So, I know for those that are listening, we have a wide variety of developers, builders, those that, service active adults, those have waterfront properties, those that, cater to the new home or first-time home buyer. So outside of, hey, that's my competitor and model home, and I know their same customer base is the one that I want, what kind of suggestions or targets or locations would you give the audience?
Yeah, so I mean, you can use anything from apartment complexes if you're a first-time home buyer and you want to get the message of, hey, why rent when you can buy for what you're currently spending in rent here? You could potentially afford a mortgage payment of that same price over in my community over here. Target them that way. If you have a lot of relocation buyers, people who are moving into the area for work, and they're still going on site at the place of employment. We have done employee parking lots where we're targeting all the employees of a certain business location where they are going on site, showing our ads to them to influence the on-site traffic and drive website traffic as well. Depending on the age demographic as well. Also, if it's an older buyer, the 55 plus active adult, we've done places of worship, like churches where everyone congregates. At that age, you want to be around everyone, your friends and family. So churches have been really effective for the active adult buyer. For our active adult buyers as well, country clubs, that's worked out for the higher end purchases as well. Like if you're looking and selling plots of land or the, build on your lot, custom home builders, going after, the higher end luxury locations such as, country clubs or, marinas or boat clubs, all of that, where that your buyer currently is and likes to hang out. Those would be a location that we would recommend for them, especially for the build on your lot and land developers. What really works is targeting competitor developments as a whole, not just the model homes, but going after where people are currently looking to move from into your current development. Going after those existing buyers who are looking to make a move. Putting your ad in front of them has worked really well, both on a geofencing level and on an IDFA level. So you can see the on-site traffic you're getting from those locations from your geofencing campaign, and then you can see the website form submissions and the interest from the IDFA list, throwing it into Facebook or Instagram.
Well, I also know, and let me get your thoughts on this, with the changing of the market and kind of the resale homes really staying more stagnant or on the market for a longer time. And now the buyer's being forced with, do I, overpay for a resale or do I buy new, which gives, which changes the pendulum over the last couple of years. Would you recommend geofencing resale targets, or what would be the best strategy if, I know there's a good amount of traffic over in this established neighborhood. How can I get some of that good stuff?
Yeah, so again, you can do it. It might be low volume though, because you have to also remember if it's a newly listed house that hasn't done an open house, if it's getting ready to do its first open house, it'd be a good target. You're going to have the highest volume of potential devices walking into that location, rather than say, hey, I'm going to target this resale or home that's been on the market for multiple months at a time. Less traffic going in and out of that house. So you're not going to have as many devices to show your ad to, so you might not see as much success. Now, if you have a large pool of listings that you want to pull from, that could work. If you have 50 to 75 listings and each of them gets, maybe let's say 30 units of traffic, during a month. Now you have a nice sized audience to use not only on IDFA and upload into Facebook to get a good match back from that list, but also to start serving devices on your geofencing campaign. Because when you capture those device IDs for use in the geofencing campaign, it's like a remarketing audience. You have them for 30 days. So that gives you enough time, enough volume to get your banner ad in front of them and saturate that user who is previously or currently looking for those resales, to show them your current offering of, hey, why buy this resale when you could be buying new over here from us.
I know I kind of jumped ahead a little bit in talking about the market and trends, but in that same vein, what are you seeing as trends that maybe marketers have to be conscious of with the market or just these type of technologies, IDFA and geofencing?
I mean, with the technology, you just have to be wary of changes that the actual phone manufacturers make, like Apple, where they pivot off of the IDFA, ID, the device ID. Don't get scared by that. And work with a team that's really knowledgeable on how to, hit that curveball that the companies are going to give us. The app ID, while it takes a lot more work to get around, those devices are still available to show ads to. So it's not going to kill the technology. The technology is only going to, grow and enhance, especially now with AI capabilities and machine learning algorithms out there as well. Just what our system does with all those app IDs is, over time, the more data it gets, it merges them down into a single device ID, so it can give you better tracking and reporting over time, with how our geofencing system works. So is geofencing going to go away? No. Is IDFA going to go away? Yes and no. It might change names, but the technology and the capability is still going to be there. Is it creepy? Yeah, it is. It's a little creepy when you have people just grabbing your phone IDs, and then all of a sudden you start showing ads, like you said, you're
But
in a
everybody's
lost
doing
home, and
it.
all of a sudden you have now more homes coming
Yeah.
at you and in your feeds everywhere. We've also had clients hesitant on, well, hey, is this legal? Yeah, it's legal.
Mhm.
There's nothing against an Apple's policy and Android's policy about grabbing these IDs. Apple has gated it, but then they gave that option to the app developers as well as the end user. Whenever you download a new app on your phone, it asks you, hey, would you
Hey,
like
do you
to
want to
share
track?
this? Would you want to
Yeah.
be tracked? Do you want to share this information? So it's the opt-in. And you're only, advertisers or home builders, developers are only able to show ads to apps that have opted in. So it's
Mhm.
perfectly legal unless Congress, decides to write some law that strikes down, you can't use a phone ID or device ID for advertising purposes. I highly doubt it. We all know how efficient Congress is over there on the Hill. It's going to be perfectly legal and capable to use across all of your marketing channels. So I don't see it going away anytime soon. I can only see it getting just more precise.
Mhm.
Um, with like I said, the enhancements of AI and machine learning and all that fun stuff that brings, it's only going to get better and more precise in the future.
And it sounds like just being, again, with a team that can stay ahead of any regulations or changes and help kind of navigate those things because they're going to constantly be changing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, Tanner, as we're wrapping up today's show, I always like to give the audience or the guests a chance to let the audience know a little bit of advice. And, for those that may be new marketers or young professionals jumping into this industry, what advice would you give them?
Um, in the real estate, have fun. And, every day is not the same. Like I mentioned, there's curveballs every day, so be able to go with the ebb and flows that real estate brings. And I'd also say, network, reach out to everyone who's also in the industry, lean on their experience and their knowledge base to let them help you and guide you, and help you grow as a new marketer or professional in real estate. Local HBA for sure. I've gone to plenty of HBA meetings, attended plenty of HBA events that are a blast. Meet really awesome people there, and able to network and, again, grow your knowledge base for who you know in the industry. To help everybody out, help you learn and grow and do all that good stuff. So
Good stuff. Well, Tanner, I appreciate you joining us and educating us on IDFA and Geo today.
yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Well, for those that are listening, thank you for sharing this time, and we look forward to having you on our next episode of the Market Pulse presented by Smart Touch. Have a great day.